Welcome back, American Coin Hunter. When we talk about American coins, particularly the humble 1-cent piece, most people glance at it and see nothing more than a small piece of copper-coated zinc, something so ordinary that it barely registers in their pockets or wallets. But for collectors, historians, and investors, even the simplest cent can unlock stories, mysteries, and hidden treasures worth astonishing amounts of money. One such example that has captured the imagination of coin enthusiasts around the world is the 1981-cent coin, especially those with notable minting errors. Unlike many other coins in circulation that are easily overlooked, the 1980 penny holds a unique place in numismatic history due to its composition, design nuances, and the occasional striking errors that make it rare, fascinating, and potentially incredibly valuable. The 1981-cent coin was minted during a time when the United States was navigating complex economic and political landscapes. Yet its coinage reflected continuity, heritage, and the subtle evolution of design that the U.S. Mint had meticulously adhered to since the late 18th century. The penny of this era retained the familiar visage of Abraham Lincoln on its obverse, a tribute that had been in place since 1909, commemorating Lincoln's centennial birth. The reverse featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design that had been first introduced in 1959, replacing the earlier wheat ears. These symbols were not just mere imagery. They encapsulated history, artistry, and the enduring cultural resonance of Lincoln's legacy. When collectors examine a 1980 penny, they immediately note its specifications. The coin weighs 2.5 grams, a standard that had been established since 1982 when the composition began to shift more drastically due to economic pressures. It has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and its edges are smooth, characteristic of all standard U.S. pennies. The 1980 coin, however, was still composed primarily of 95% copper with a 5% zinc alloy, giving it that reddish-brown hue collectors have come to associate with classic pennies. The mint mark, which can appear as a small D for Denver or S for San Francisco, is crucial for numismatists because it can drastically affect the coin's value. Coins without mint marks, usually from the Philadelphia Mint, also carry their own unique rarity in certain conditions. What sets the 1980 penny apart from its contemporaries, however, are the errors that occurred during production. Minting errors can occur in several ways: doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks, among others. Each type of error has its own story and impact on the coin's desirability. For the 1980 penny, one of the most sought-after errors is the doubled die obverse. In this type of error, the coin's design appears doubled or shadowed, usually noticeable in the inscriptions such as Liberty or the date itself. Collectors treasure such errors because they are relatively rare and can transform a common coin into an object worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Other errors like off-center strikes, where the coin does not align correctly with the die, can also produce astonishing results, turning a 1-cent piece into a unique collectible that is almost like a miniature piece of modern art. The 1980 penny with errors is not just a numismatic curiosity. It is also a significant investment. Today, the market for rare pennies has exploded. While a standard circulated 1980 penny might be worth no more than its face value, those with minting errors, especially in mint condition, can reach values far beyond imagination. Recent auctions have shown that certain error pennies from this year have been sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and some estimates have even projected potential collections of these rare coins to reach staggering sums, with a combined market potential of up to $247 million when considering large collections of verified mint error coins. This makes the 1980 penny an essential focus for serious collectors and investors looking to diversify into rare coins, where historical significance, rarity, and aesthetic appeal converge to create value. Collectors often scrutinize coins using magnifying glasses, microscopes, or even professional grading services to ensure authenticity and condition. The grading of a 1980 penny with error is crucial. A coin in pristine mint state, MS 65 or higher, with a visible double die or a significant off-center strike, can exponentially increase in value compared to a worn example. Coin grading considers factors like luster, strike quality, surface preservation, and the presence of any blemishes or discolorations. For instance, a 1980 penny with a clear double die and original red luster may command prices from hundreds to thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and demand. The scarcity of these error coins is precisely what drives the market frenzy, as collectors are willing to pay premiums for coins that are verified, documented, and graded by reputable services. The history behind this coin also adds layers to its story. 1980 was a year of transition and uncertainty in the U.S., economically and politically. Ronald Reagan was elected president, signaling a shift in economic policies that would eventually impact everything from inflation to metal prices. The U.S. Mint, however, continued to focus on producing coins that maintained tradition and consistency while navigating the constraints of production costs and metal availability. Interestingly, the copper content of the penny, which would later be reduced due to rising metal prices, remained intact in 1980, making it one of the last years where the traditional copper alloy could be fully appreciated for both its aesthetic qualities and its intrinsic value. This makes it a collector's favorite, not only for errors, but also for its historical context in the transition period of American coinage. Furthermore, the 1980 penny's design and symbolism carry additional significance. Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse is finely detailed, showing the meticulous artistry of Victor David Brenner, whose design was first introduced in 1909. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse is rendered with such precision that under magnification, collectors can see every column and detail, and in error coins, these details sometimes become exaggerated or distorted, making the errors even more visually striking. The coin's symbolism extends beyond aesthetics. It represents enduring values, continuity, and the intersection of history and modern production that in terms of current market value. A standard 1980 penny is almost worthless in monetary terms, but when you factor in error coins, limited mint runs, and uncirculated specimens, the picture changes dramatically. Serious collectors actively monitor auctions, coin shows, and online marketplaces to locate the rarest examples. For those who manage to acquire pennies with significant errors in top condition, the potential for appreciation is considerable. With over 247 million coins minted in 1980 across various mints, the rarity lies not in quantity, but in the anomalies, the mistakes that make a coin exceptional and highly desired among the numismatic community. As we delve further into the 1980 penny, it is impossible to ignore the mesmerizing variety of errors that make this seemingly ordinary coin a treasure trove for collectors. Errors in coinage are accidental, often occurring due to slight misalignments, equipment issues, or human oversight during production, but these very mistakes are what elevate a coin from mundane to extraordinary. Among the most famous and sought-after errors in the 1980 penny series is the double die obverse, which occurs when the die that stamps the design onto the coin becomes misaligned during its creation. This misalignment causes certain parts of the design, most notably the date, Liberty, or even Lincoln's features, to appear doubled. In some cases, the doubling is subtle and only detectable under magnification, while in rarer instances, it is bold and unmistakable, creating a striking visual effect that transforms the coin into an object of fascination. Another particularly intriguing error type found in 1980 pennies is the off-center strike. This occurs when the planchet, the blank metal disc destined to become a coin, is not properly aligned in the coining press. The result is a coin where the design appears shifted, sometimes dramatically, with portions of Lincoln's portrait or the Lincoln Memorial missing entirely or partially cropped. The degree of the off-center strike plays a significant role in the coin's value. The more extreme the misalignment, the more collectible and valuable the coin becomes. In some auctions, highly off-center 1980 pennies have sold for several $1,000s, transforming what was once a common cent into a stunning collectible worthy of investment attention. Then there are clipped planchets, another rare error that collectors actively seek. This occurs when the metal strip from which coins are punched is uneven, resulting in a coin with a missing section, creating a distinctive crescent or wedge-shaped clip along the edge. While these clipped coins may look like production mistakes at first glance, they are officially recognized by grading authorities as legitimate errors, and their rarity often commands significant premiums. For the 1980 penny, a clipped planchet can be particularly striking due to the coin's copper color and the prominence of Lincoln's portrait, making it both visually interesting and historically significant. Even die cracks and die breaks add an extra layer of fascination. Over time, the dies used to stamp coins can develop hairline fractures, which transfer onto the coins they strike. These cracks can appear as fine lines running across the surface of the penny, sometimes forming unusual patterns that make each coin unique. Some collectors prize these coins for the individual story they tell, as no two die cracks are identical. In the 1980 penny series, coins with prominent die cracks can attract high interest, particularly when the cracks accentuate Lincoln's features or the lettering, adding a dramatic and unintended flair to the design. The process of grading these coins is an exacting art. Professional grading services such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, evaluate coins on multiple factors, including strike quality, surface preservation, luster, color, and the clarity of errors. A 1980 penny with a prominent double die or off-center strike in MS 65 or MS 66 condition is exceedingly rare, and collectors will pay substantial amounts for such specimens. Even lower-grade error coins hold value above face, as the error itself distinguishes them from the millions of standard circulation pennies. Grading not only authenticates the coin but also establishes trust and marketability, crucial factors in achieving top dollar at auctions or private sales. Historically, the 1980 penny occupies a transitional space in U.S. coinage. While still composed predominantly of 95% copper, these coins were produced just before the mint's major composition changes in 1982, when copper prices skyrocketed and the mint began producing mostly zinc-based pennies with a thin copper coating. This means the 1980 penny is among the last to feature substantial copper content in a fully traditional format, adding intrinsic value alongside its numismatic significance. For collectors seeking coins with both historical and metal value, this creates a compelling proposition. It is this combination of material, design, and errors that underpins the astounding potential market value, which, when aggregated across all known and collectible error coins from 1980, has been estimated at nearly $247 million. Collectors and investors alike often examine the 1980 penny through multiple lenses. Some focus purely on the aesthetic appeal of the coin, appreciating the intricate details of Lincoln's face and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Others take a more financial perspective, analyzing rarity, market trends, and auction records to determine potential return on investment. Both approaches highlight the coin's enduring appeal. It is both an artifact of American history and a vehicle for wealth creation. This duality is particularly evident in error coins, where a minor minting mistake can transform a humble 1-cent piece into a highly coveted collector's item that draws attention from serious numismatists around the world. Market dynamics for the 1980 penny with errors are complex, yet fascinating. Coins with verified and documented errors often appear at high-profile auctions, sometimes fetching astonishing prices. Notable sales of similar error pennies from the 1980s have ranged from hundreds to tens of thousands of dollars per coin, depending on rarity, grade, and historical significance. The sheer excitement of owning a coin that is both a tangible piece of history and a rare collectible drives competition among collectors, fueling demand and pushing prices higher over time. It is not uncommon for private collectors to acquire error pennies with the hope of selling them later at significant profits, particularly when the coins are verified by reputable grading services. The 1980 penny also represents the human element behind coin collecting. Many collectors recount stories of hunting for error coins in everyday circulation, rolling through banks, examining pocket change, and scanning coin rolls with a keen eye. The thrill of discovering a double die or off-center strike in a handful of loose change is a story as valuable as the coin itself, adding personal history to the numismatic one. In fact, some of the most famous error coins were discovered in the most unassuming ways, turning ordinary collectors into overnight legends within the numismatic community. Moreover, the 1980 penny connects collectors across generations. Older collectors often remember handling these coins in their youth, while younger enthusiasts seek them out as investments or historical artifacts. This intergenerational appeal is strengthened by the coin's errors, which provide tangible proof that even the most ordinary-looking coins can possess extraordinary stories and financial potential. The combination of historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and investment potential makes the 1980 penny not just a coin, but a symbol of the rich interplay between history, art, and economics. Among collectors, certain 1980 pennies have achieved almost legendary status due to the errors they carry, making them the holy grails of modern numismatics. One particularly famous category is the 1980 double die obverse penny, sometimes abbreviated as 1980 DDO. This coin exhibits clear doubling on the obverse inscriptions, most notably Liberty and the year 1980. In the numismatic world, subtle doubling may go unnoticed by the casual observer, but even minor doubling can add hundreds of dollars to the coin's value when verified and graded. Boldly doubled coins, on the other hand, can fetch several $1,000s, particularly if the coin retains its original red luster and shows minimal wear. Collectors often compete fiercely to acquire these coins, attending coin shows, scouring online auctions, and even inspecting rolls of pennies from banks in search of undiscovered specimens. Another rare and valuable variant is the off-center strike penny, which, in extreme cases, shows as little as 50 to 60% of the intended design. These coins are remarkable not only for their rarity, but also for their dramatic visual appeal. Imagine holding a coin in your hand where Lincoln's face is completely shifted to one side, leaving the other side of the coin almost blank. The human eye is naturally drawn to imperfection, and in numismatics, these imperfections are exactly what collectors prize. The value of such off-center pennies depends heavily on the degree of misalignment. The further off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Some collectors have reported paying several $1,000s for a single extreme off-center 1980 penny, particularly when it is in mint condition. Mint marks play an equally important role in determining rarity and value. In 1980, pennies were minted in 3 primary locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. Each mint had its own production quirks and error rates, making certain mint-marked coins more desirable. For example, a 1980s penny with a double die or off-center strike is far rarer than the corresponding Philadelphia coin due to the lower production numbers and the stricter quality control standards at the San Francisco Mint. Denver coins, being more numerous, tend to be slightly less rare in circulation, but high-grade error coins from Denver can still command impressive prices. Collectors carefully study these mint marks, comparing subtle design differences, weight, and metallic composition to accurately classify and value their coins. Clip planchets are another fascinating aspect of the 1980 penny series. In these cases, the blank metal discs used to create coins were unevenly cut, resulting in coins with missing segments along their edges. The resulting shape can be semicircular, crescent-shaped, or even irregularly angled, and the more extreme the clipping, the more collectible the coin becomes. What makes these coins particularly exciting is that each clip planchet is unique. No two are ever exactly alike. The individuality of the error adds to the coin's story, giving collectors a tangible sense of holding something one of a kind, a miniature piece of accidental artistry produced by the mint. Die cracks and die breaks, though less visually dramatic than off-center strikes or clipped planchets, are equally significant. Over time, dies used in coin production develop hairline fractures, which transfer onto the coin surface during striking. In some instances, these cracks run across Lincoln's face, the lettering, or the Lincoln Memorial, creating unusual and collectible patterns. Coins with prominent die cracks, especially those from 1980, have become sought-after items because they document a specific moment in mint production. Collectors often attempt to map these cracks across multiple coins, trying to trace the life of a particular die and establish provenance, which can further enhance value. Auction records provide real-world validation of the 1980 pennies market potential. Error coins from this year have appeared in prominent auctions, sometimes reaching prices that surprise even seasoned numismatists. For instance, a particularly bold 1980 double die penny sold at auction for over $7,500, a stark contrast to its nominal face value of 1 cent. Similarly, an extreme off-center strike penny with an S mint mark fetched nearly $10,000 due to its rarity and pristine condition. These sales highlight the vast discrepancy between ordinary circulated pennies and those carrying errors, emphasizing why collectors and investors alike view the 1980 penny as more than just pocket change. It is a serious asset in the world of numismatics. Another compelling aspect of the 1980 penny market is the phenomenon of hoarded collections. Over the years, coin collectors, especially those aware of errors, have stored away entire rolls or boxes of pennies, hoping to discover rare anomalies. Some of these hoarded collections have been recently brought to auction, revealing a treasure trove of doubled dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks, sometimes yielding combined values exceeding hundreds of thousands of dollars. The sheer potential for profit has created a vibrant secondary market where coins are not just bought and sold. They are hunted, researched, and curated like fine art. The 1980 penny also provides insight into the broader economic and metallurgical context of the era. With copper prices beginning to rise in the late 1970s and early 1980s, the mint was under pressure to manage costs without compromising design or production efficiency. This delicate balance sometimes contributed to errors, as presses were adjusted or dies were used longer than usual, creating opportunities for anomalies to occur. As a result, error coins from this period are not just valuable for their rarity. They also tell a story about the practical challenges of producing billions of coins under financial and industrial constraints. Collectors also pay close attention to color and luster, especially in high-grade coins. The 1980 penny retains the classic copper-red hue, which can darken to brown with circulation or toning. Error coins in their original red state are particularly prized because they combine rarity, historical significance, and aesthetic appeal. A 1980 penny with a strong doubled die, full red color, and minimal wear can command prices exponentially higher than its circulated counterpart. This combination of visual beauty and historical context is part of what makes the 1980 penny with errors such a fascinating subject for both casual collectors and serious investors. The educational aspect of collecting 1980 pennies cannot be overlooked. Enthusiasts often study the coins under magnification, comparing minor details, analyzing strike quality, and documenting anomalies. This research cultivates a deeper appreciation for the mint's craft and the subtle variations that make each coin unique. Even casual collectors can spend hours examining rolls of pennies, identifying patterns, and cataloging discoveries, turning what might seem like a mundane coin hunt into an immersive, educational experience. The 1980 penny, thus, serves as both an artifact and a tool for learning, bridging the worlds of history, metallurgy, and economics. When examining the 1980 penny with errors, it becomes essential to understand how different error types compare in rarity and value, because not all anomalies are created equal. Among collectors, the double die obverse is generally considered the most prestigious error due to its dramatic visual impact and relative scarcity. Within this category, coins displaying bold, clear doubling on the inscriptions, especially the word Liberty and the date, 1980, tend to command the highest premiums. Coins with subtle doubling, while still valuable, may sell for significantly less, as they are easier to miss and therefore slightly more common. Off-center strikes, on the other hand, offer a unique kind of appeal. Extreme misalignments, where the coin shows as little as half the intended design, are rare and highly sought after, particularly when the coin remains in near-mint condition. Moderate off-center strikes are more numerous but still retain collector interest due to the visual peculiarity and the thrill of owning a coin that deviates dramatically from the norm. Clipped planchets occupy a fascinating niche within the 1980 penny series. The value of a clipped coin often depends on the size and shape of the clip, as well as the location on the coin. A small, barely noticeable clip may attract only minor interest, whereas a large, crescent-shaped clipping that interrupts Lincoln's profile or the Lincoln Memorial becomes a showpiece. Because no two clipped planchets are identical, collectors are drawn to the individuality of each specimen, creating a market where uniqueness is a primary driver of value. Die cracks and die breaks, while less immediately striking than off-center strikes or doubled dies, appeal to collectors who value the story behind the coin. Prominent cracks that accentuate Lincoln's features or the lettering can elevate a coin's desirability, particularly among those who appreciate the technical intricacies of coin production. The condition of the coin, often expressed as a grading score, is a critical factor in determining value. Grading ranges from circulated coins, which may show signs of wear and discoloration, to mint-state coins that have never left the protective environment of the mint. A circulated 1980 penny with a minor doubled die might sell for a few $100s, but a mint-state example in MS 65 or higher could reach thousands, particularly if the coin also exhibits full red luster and sharp strike detail. Even for off-center strikes or clipped planchets, condition plays a pivotal role. Extreme errors in worn condition are valuable, but the same errors in pristine condition are transformative, offering both aesthetic and financial appeal. Investing in 1980 pennies with errors requires both knowledge and patience. While it is possible to acquire valuable specimens through auctions, coin shows, and private sales, success often comes down to careful research, verification of authenticity, and timing. Collectors and investors frequently track market trends, monitor auction records, and maintain detailed logs of coins they inspect. Some even specialize in particular error types, focusing exclusively on doubled dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets. This level of specialization allows them to become experts, recognizing subtle variations that others might overlook, and ultimately securing coins with the highest potential appreciation and value. The investment potential of 1980 pennies with errors is remarkable. While ordinary circulated pennies hold negligible monetary value, error coins have repeatedly demonstrated the capacity for substantial returns. A collector who discovers a bold double die or extreme off-center strike in circulation can potentially transform a 1-cent coin into an asset worth thousands of dollars. Even in broader collections, assembling a set of verified error coins from 1980, including both mint marks and all major error types, can represent a significant investment. With the estimated combined market value of rare 1980 error pennies approaching $247 million, it is clear why these coins are not only collectibles, but also serious financial instruments for those who understand the market. Collector strategies often include examining rolls of pennies obtained directly from banks, seeking out high-grade specimens from reputable dealers, and even networking with other collectors to locate rare error coins. Some collectors meticulously study historical mint production records to identify periods or presses more prone to errors, thereby improving their chances of discovering valuable coins. Others employ magnification tools and photography to document anomalies, creating personal catalogs that help authenticate and track their collections over time. This combination of research, observation, and networking reflects the deep dedication and expertise that serious collectors bring to the 1980 penny market. Market trends for 1980 error pennies indicate that demand continues to rise, driven by both domestic and international collectors. As more people recognize the rarity and investment potential of these coins, competition increases, leading to higher auction prices and faster turnover of available specimens. Coins with dramatic visual appeal, such as bold doubled dies, extreme off-center strikes, or large clipped planchets, are particularly sought after, and collectors are willing to pay substantial premiums to secure them. This trend is further reinforced by grading services, which provide authentication and establish trust in the marketplace, ensuring that buyers can confidently invest in these coins. The historical context of the 1980 penny also adds depth to its value. Produced during a period of economic uncertainty and rising copper prices, these coins represent one of the last large-scale issues of predominantly copper pennies before the widespread transition to zinc-plated coins in 1982. This places the 1980 penny in a unique position. It is both a historical artifact reflecting the economic and industrial conditions of its era and a canvas for the accidental artistry of mint errors. Collectors value this duality, recognizing that each coin embodies not just monetary potential, but also a tangible connection to American history. Finally, the 1980 penny with errors teaches an important lesson about the intersection of chance and craftsmanship. While the U.S. Mint strives for precision and uniformity, the very imperfections that occasionally emerge become the catalysts for extraordinary value. Each error coin is a story frozen in metal, a moment where human oversight, mechanical limitations, and material conditions converge to create something unique. For collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike, This blend of history, rarity, and visual appeal transforms the humble 1-cent piece into an object of fascination, an artifact of serendipity, and in some cases, a source of remarkable financial gain. When discussing 1980 pennies with heirs, nothing captures the imagination more than the real-world stories of discovery and high-value sales. One of the most famous examples involves a collector who, while sorting through a roll of pennies from a local bank, stumbled upon a 1980 double-die obverse penny in near-perfect condition. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary coin, but under magnification, the clear doubling on the word Liberty and the date, 1980, became unmistakable. Once verified by a professional grading service, this coin was sold at auction for over $7,500, a dramatic transformation from a 1-cent piece to a high-value collectible. Stories like this illustrate the thrill and potential financial upside of pursuing 1980-era pennies. Another remarkable tale involves an extreme off-center strike 1980 penny from the San Francisco Mint. This coin was discovered in a bag of change at a retail store, a serendipitous find that turned out to be worth nearly $10,000 once authenticated and graded. The off-center strike was so pronounced that only about 50 to 60% of Lincoln's portrait appeared, leaving a large portion of the coin blank. Such coins are exceedingly rare, and their dramatic appearance often makes them showpieces in private collections or exhibitions. Collectors often describe the experience of finding such coins as exhilarating, a mix of surprise, joy, and disbelief that a single cent could carry such extraordinary value. Clipped planchet pennies from 1980 have also created headlines in the numismatic world. One notable example involved a crescent-shaped clipped coin that affected both Lincoln's face and part of the Lincoln Memorial. The uniqueness of the clipping, combined with the coin's excellent condition, led to a sale of nearly $5,000 at a specialized coin auction. What makes clipped planchets particularly appealing is that no two are ever the same. The irregular shapes create a visual narrative that tells the story of the mint's production process and the serendipitous nature of errors. Collectors often display these coins prominently, not only for their monetary value, but also for their aesthetic and historical intrigue. Auction highlights further underscore the potential profitability of investing in 1980-era pennies. Over the past decade, several high-profile sales have demonstrated how rarity, condition, and dramatic error types can drive prices sky-high. For example, a 1980s penny with a bold double die in pristine condition sold for over $12,000, while a 1980D off-center strike penny achieved a record-breaking $15,000 at a major numismatic auction. These sales reflect the growing demand for rare error coins and the confidence collectors have in the long-term appreciation of these pieces. They also highlight the importance of authentication and grading. Coins that are verified by trusted services command higher prices and attract serious bidders, ensuring a competitive market for the rarest examples. For collectors seeking to navigate this market, authenticity is paramount. Because the value of an error penny depends heavily on the type and clarity of the error, verifying that the coin is genuine is critical. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC provide expert evaluation, examining factors like strike quality, doubling clarity, off-center alignment, and surface preservation. Once authenticated, coins receive a grade that reflects their condition, which becomes a key determinant of value. Collectors are advised to always request certificates of authenticity, particularly for coins purchased online or through private sales, to ensure they are not investing in a counterfeit or misrepresented piece. Collector communities, both online and in person, also play a vital role in discovering and verifying 1980-era pennies. Forums, social media groups, and coin shows provide platforms where enthusiasts share images, discuss anomalies, and offer advice on grading and authentication. Networking with experienced collectors can lead to tips on where to search for coins, how to identify subtle errors, and strategies for negotiating purchases. Some collectors even maintain detailed logs of known errors, creating reference databases that track frequency, location, and type of anomalies, resources that can significantly increase the chances of finding valuable coins. The 1980 penny's market value is further influenced by historical significance and production context. Produced at a time of rising copper prices, Just before the mint's transition to predominantly zinc pennies in 1982, the 1980 penny occupies a unique place in U.S. numismatic history. Its copper composition, combined with potential errors, makes it not only a collectible but also a tangible piece of economic history. Investors recognize this, often viewing high-grade error pennies as both a hedge against inflation and a long-term asset with strong appreciation potential. Even beyond monetary considerations, these coins carry a cultural and educational significance. They offer a tangible connection to Lincoln, the Lincoln Memorial, and the meticulous artistry of Victor David Brenner's design. Error pennies in particular highlight the intersection of human craftsmanship, mechanical production, and chance, an enduring reminder that even in a highly standardized process, uniqueness can emerge. Collectors often teach younger enthusiasts about these coins, examining features under magnification and sharing stories of discovery, passing down both historical knowledge and the excitement of numismatics. Finally, the 1980 penny with errors exemplifies the thrill of treasure hunting in everyday life. Many of the most valuable specimens were found in circulation or purchased at minimal cost before recognition of their true worth. The idea that a single 1-cent coin, easily overlooked in a pocket or a coin roll, could be transformed into a high-value collectible captures the imagination and underscores why this coin continues to captivate collectors worldwide. With potential combined market values approaching $247 million for rare error pennies, the 1980 penny is more than just a piece of currency. It is a gateway to history, art, and financial opportunity, offering lessons, excitement, and tangible rewards for those willing to look closely. The market for 1980 pennies with errors has experienced significant evolution over the past several decades, reflecting broader trends in numismatics, collector behavior, and economic conditions. In the early years following their minting, most 1980 pennies were treated as ordinary currency, changing hands in pockets, cash registers, and banks without attracting attention. However, as collectors and investors became increasingly aware of the rarity and potential value of error coins, demand grew exponentially. Today, error pennies from 1980 are considered highly desirable, with a robust market fueled by both domestic collectors and international buyers seeking high-quality specimens for their personal or investment collections. Mint mark variations play a critical role in shaping market trends and value assessments. In 1980, pennies were produced in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Each mint had unique production characteristics, resulting in subtle differences that can influence both error frequency and collectability. Philadelphia coins, being the most numerous, are often easier to find but may not command the same premiums unless the error is bold or in exceptional condition. Denver pennies, while more common than San Francisco issues, can still achieve high value when displaying prominent errors or striking features. San Francisco coins, particularly those with the S mint mark, are often the rarest in error form due to lower production numbers and stringent quality controls, making them especially sought after by collectors and investors. Analyzing market trends reveals that demand tends to peak for coins with dramatic visual anomalies. Bold double dies, extreme off-center strikes, and large clipped planchets consistently attract the most attention at auctions and private sales. Auction houses frequently report competitive bidding for these high-impact errors, demonstrating that rarity and aesthetic appeal are major drivers of value. Conversely, minor errors, while still collectible, may not achieve comparable premiums, highlighting the importance of understanding which error types are most marketable. Collectors and investors carefully monitor recent auction results, track sales databases, and analyze grading trends to identify which coins are appreciating fastest, allowing them to make informed purchasing decisions. Advanced collecting strategies often involve specialization. Some collectors focus exclusively on double dies, developing expertise in identifying subtle doubling and verifying authenticity. Others may concentrate on off-center strikes or clipped planchets, learning to distinguish between minor misalignments and extreme examples that carry significantly higher value. Specialization allows collectors to recognize coins that others might overlook, enhancing both the quality and value of their collection. Networking with fellow collectors, attending specialized coin shows, And participating in online forums also provide access to hard-to-find coins and valuable market insights. Condition and grading remain pivotal in maximizing coin value. Mint state coins, particularly those graded MS 65 or higher, command far higher premiums than circulated examples. For 1980-era pennies, the combination of error type, mint mark, and grading can create substantial differences in value. For example, a bold double-die obverse penny in pristine condition with an S mint mark may sell for tens of thousands of dollars, while a similar coin in lower grade might fetch only a fraction of that amount. Collectors often invest in professional grading services to ensure accurate valuation and to enhance marketability, recognizing that a verified and certified coin instills confidence in buyers and supports premium pricing. Collectors also consider market timing and economic conditions when buying or selling 1980-era pennies. During periods of high collector interest or when precious metals and collectible coins are in demand, prices tend to rise. Conversely, market slowdowns may reduce bidding competition, though rare, high-grade error coins generally maintain strong value due to their scarcity. Successful investors balance patience with strategic action, acquiring coins when prices are favorable and selling when market conditions maximize returns. Another advanced strategy involves assembling comprehensive collections. Rather than acquiring a single error coin, some collectors seek to assemble sets of 1980 pennies that include all major error types across different mint marks. This approach creates a collection with both historical depth and financial potential. Comprehensive collections often attract attention from high-end collectors, museums, and auction houses, and they can command prices that far exceed the sum of individual coin values. The combination of variety, rarity, and exceptional condition in such collections makes them particularly valuable in both private and public markets. Verification of authenticity remains central to all market strategies. With increasing interest in error pennies, the risk of misrepresentation or counterfeit coins has grown. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC provide authentication, grading, and encapsulation, giving buyers confidence that their investment is genuine. Coins that are authenticated and graded are more marketable, can be sold faster, and typically achieve higher prices. Collectors often maintain detailed records of purchase, grading certificates, and photographs, creating a documented provenance that enhances both historical and financial value. Finally, education and continuous learning are essential for serious collectors. Understanding subtle differences in minting processes, recognizing rare error types, and tracking market trends require ongoing research. Many collectors study historical mint records, auction catalogs, and numismatic publications to gain insight into which coins are rare, which errors are valuable, and how market conditions fluctuate. This knowledge not only informs purchasing decisions, but also enriches the collector's appreciation of the coins themselves, transforming the 1980 penny with errors into a rewarding pursuit that blends history, artistry, and investment acumen. The story of the 1980 penny with errors is not only about its technical features or market value. It is also about the human stories, the collectors, and the thrill of discovery that make numismatics such an enduring passion. Over the years, countless enthusiasts have recounted tales of finding error coins in everyday circulation, turning mundane rolls of pennies into treasure troves. One collector famously discovered a bold double-die 1980 penny in a jar of coins he had received as change from a local grocery store. At first, he did not recognize its rarity, but after consulting with a professional grader, he realized he had stumbled upon a coin worth thousands of dollars. The excitement of such discoveries captures the imagination of collectors everywhere, reinforcing the idea that opportunity often lies hidden in plain sight. Notable collectors have helped elevate the 1980 penny into numismatic legend. Some of these individuals are well known in auction circles for their meticulous collections and high-value acquisitions. They have turned the pursuit of error pennies into both a personal passion and a strategic investment, often spending years hunting for rare examples to complete specialized sets. These collectors also contribute to the broader community by sharing their findings, documenting unique error coins, and educating newcomers about the subtleties of mint errors, grading, and market dynamics. Their dedication demonstrates how a single 1-cent coin, when studied carefully and appreciated fully, can hold immense cultural, historical, and financial significance. Auction battles for rare 1980-era pennies have become dramatic and widely followed events. Collectors compete fiercely for bold doubled dies, extreme off-center strikes, and large clipped planchets, often resulting in bidding wars that push prices far beyond initial estimates. In one memorable auction, two collectors competed for a pristine 1980s off-center strike penny. The coin, with only about 55% of the intended design visible, attracted international attention. After intense bidding, it sold for over $15,000, highlighting both its rarity and the passion that drives the numismatic community. These high-stakes auctions reinforce the idea that error pennies are not merely collectibles. They are valuable assets, historical artifacts, and symbols of chance and craftsmanship converging in metal form. Preservation techniques are also crucial in maintaining and enhancing the value of 1980-era pennies. Collectors emphasize the importance of handling coins carefully, avoiding cleaning methods that could damage the surface, and storing coins in protective holders to prevent scratches, tarnish, or corrosion. Professional-grade coin holders, archival quality flips, and climate-controlled storage are standard practices for serious collectors. Maintaining the original luster, color, and strike quality is essential because even minor damage can significantly reduce the coin's value. By preserving coins meticulously, collectors ensure that their error pennies retain both aesthetic beauty and financial potential over time. Long-term value growth is another compelling reason collectors pursue 1980 error pennies. Unlike ordinary coins, whose value may remain stagnant or depreciate, rare error pennies consistently appreciate due to scarcity, historical interest, and collector demand. The 1980 penny, positioned at the cusp of a transition in copper composition and minted during a period of economic significance, is particularly poised for appreciation. Collectors who carefully acquire, authenticate, and preserve high-quality error coins often see their investments grow steadily, sometimes dramatically, over the years. This combination of historical significance, rarity, and market-driven value makes the 1980 penny not only a collectible, but a tangible investment vehicle. The allure of the 1980 penny also lies in its accessibility. While some collectors pursue multi-million-dollar coin collections, error pennies are often obtainable at more modest investment levels, especially when starting with lesser-known or slightly less dramatic errors. This accessibility allows collectors of all experience levels to participate, learn, and enjoy the thrill of discovery. As their knowledge and resources grow, many expand their collections, acquiring higher-grade or more visually striking error pennies, ultimately creating a personal archive of history, art, and financial opportunity. In conclusion, the 1981-cent penny with errors is far more than a small piece of copper in your pocket. It embodies history, artistry, chance, and investment potential. From the subtle doubling of letters to extreme off-center strikes and unique clipped planchets, each coin tells a story of human craftsmanship, mechanical imperfection, and serendipity. Collectors worldwide treasure these pennies not only for their financial worth, but for the excitement of discovery, the satisfaction of completing a set, and the deep connection to American history that each coin represents. With combined market estimates approaching $247 million, the 1980 penny remains a cornerstone of modern numismatics, offering lessons, thrills, and tangible rewards to those who look closely, study diligently, and appreciate the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. As we reflect on the legacy of the 1980 penny, it becomes clear why this coin continues to captivate collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike. It is a reminder that even the smallest objects, when examined with care and curiosity, can reveal stories of immense value, both culturally and financially. The 1981-cent error penny stands as a symbol of the fascinating intersection of history, craftsmanship, and chance, a testament to the enduring appeal of coins and the unending quest of collectors to uncover hidden treasures in the most unexpected places.